In this video, we take you through 5 of the most shocking and heartbreaking incidents of mass violence that happened across the United States in 2025. These are true stories, rooted in fact, not fiction. Each one left behind deep scars, unforgettable scenes, and unanswered questions. Let's begin. Number 1. The River North Mass Shooting, Chicago. It was the night of July 2nd. The sky over Chicago's River North district was lit by the soft glow of streetlights, casting shimmering reflections across the slick pavement. Inside Artist Restaurant and Lounge, excitement was electric. Fans, friends, and family of local rapper Mellow Bucks had come together to celebrate the release of his new album, a night meant to mark a high point in his career. Outside, a crowd had gathered, young people dressed in their best, smiles all around, the beat of the music pulsing into the night air. Just after 11 p.m., a black sedan slowly rolled past the venue, windows down, no warning. And then, gunfire. Witnesses described it as a nightmare. Dozens of bullets flew in seconds. People screamed and scrambled. 4 lay lifeless almost immediately. 14 others, some critically injured, lay bleeding, shocked, crying for help. The celebration turned into chaos. Cell phones dropped mid-call, high heels abandoned mid-run, and in the aftermath, the wail of ambulances, the flashing red and blue. By morning, the street was a crime scene. Evidence markers dotted the sidewalk. Blood stained the concrete. Posters promoting the event were torn and smeared. Mayor Brandon Johnson condemned the attack as senseless and cowardly, and citizens demanded answers. Who could have done this? Why? Investigators believe the shooting was targeted, possibly gang-related, though details remain unclear. What's certain is that Artist Lounge had a history. It had already been the site of previous violence. Despite community concerns, the venue was allowed to stay open. City officials later revealed that owners had failed to disclose serious past incidents when renewing their license. The victims were mostly in their 20s, musicians, students, artists, lives full of promise, cut short. One victim, 23-year-old Jordan Sims, had recently been accepted into a graduate architecture program. Another, 21-year-old Mia Coleman, was weeks away from opening her own dance studio. Their families are left with grief, and a city left grappling with how easily a night of joy could become a scene of horror. Number 2. The Lexington Spree, Kentucky. Sunday morning, July 13th, in Lexington, Kentucky, a state trooper was parked near the Bluegrass Airport exit ramp conducting routine license plate scans. At 11:36 a.m., his reader pinged. The vehicle approaching had a flagged plate. He initiated a stop. Inside was 47-year-old Guy E. House. What should have been a mundane traffic encounter turned deadly. Without warning, House pulled a handgun and fired on the officer, who was critically wounded. He then fled in a stolen vehicle, leading law enforcement on a frantic chase. But this wasn't an ordinary escape attempt. He had a destination in mind. Just before 1 p.m., House arrived at Richmond Road Baptist Church. Inside, about 40 congregants had gathered for a quiet Sunday service. Families sat together in pews. Children drew on the backs of bulletins. The choir had just finished a hymn. House barged in through the main doors, gun drawn, demanding to speak with a woman, his former partner and the mother of his children. She wasn't there. Witnesses later recounted his chilling words. Well, someone is going to have to die then. He opened fire in the sanctuary. Among the victims were 72-year-old Beverly Gum and her 32-year-old daughter, Christina Combs. Both were active members of the church, known for their warmth and kindness. Beverly had baked pies for every community potluck. Christina was a Sunday school teacher. 3 others were gravely wounded. Screams erupted as congregants ducked beneath pews and fled toward exits. Children were shielded by strangers. One elderly man suffered a heart attack during the chaos. Police arrived within minutes. House, still armed and threatening more violence, was shot and killed during the confrontation inside the church. Investigators soon uncovered a pattern. House had a court appearance scheduled for the very next day on domestic violence charges. A man spiraling, a system that may not have acted quickly enough. The community, now grappling with the tragedy, held candlelight vigils for the victims. Choir members sang through tears the following Sunday. Number 3. The 4th of July weekend violence. The 4th of July is typically filled with fireworks, family, and patriotic pride, but in 2025, the celebration across the U.S. was marred by bloodshed. In Chicago alone, 9 people were killed and over 93 injured across various neighborhoods. Gunshots rang out in parks, at house parties, near block celebrations. The holiday weekend became the deadliest of the year. It wasn't isolated. In Indianapolis, 2 people were killed and more than a dozen wounded after gunfire erupted near a downtown parade route. In Albany, New York, a teenager was shot while walking home from watching fireworks. In Philadelphia, 5 people were wounded outside a cookout. Everywhere, what started as joyful gatherings turned into scenes of fear and mourning. Law enforcement agencies were overwhelmed. Police departments had increased patrols expecting potential trouble, but still, the violence was widespread. Criminologists have long warned that July 4th often marks a spike in shootings. The summer heat, increased alcohol consumption, and large public events create a volatile combination. But this year felt different, more extreme, more brazen. In one Chicago neighborhood, 6-year-old Tamari Jenkins was caught in crossfire while playing tag with cousins in her front yard. She survived, but she may never walk again. Her mother, speaking through sobs, told local reporters, "We were just having a cookout. This was supposed to be a celebration." Cities held press conferences. Mayors pleaded for calm. Police chiefs cited over 200 mass shooting incidents in just the first half of the year. Community organizations held emergency meetings. But families, the ones who lost someone, were left to bury their dead and tend to the wounded. Number 4. UPMC Memorial Hospital shooting, Pennsylvania. February 22nd, a cold Thursday morning in Shiloh, Pennsylvania. UPMC Memorial Hospital bustled like usual. Nurses changed shifts. Surgeons reviewed files. In the ICU, machines beeped rhythmically, echoing through sterile hallways. Just before 10:30 a.m., Diogenes Archangel Ortiz entered the facility through a side entrance. He had recently lost his wife, a trauma that had shattered his world. He carried a backpack. Inside were duct tape, zip ties, and a 9mm handgun. What happened next was terrifying. Diogenes pulled out the weapon, ordered staff to the floor, and barricaded the ICU unit. He shouted that someone had to answer for his wife's death. Staff tried to calm him down, but he fired. A responding officer, 36-year-old Brian Keller, was shot in the chest. He later died at the hospital. Several others were injured, 2 nurses, a janitor, and another officer. For nearly an hour, Ortiz held people hostage. Hospital security coordinated with local police and a SWAT team. Negotiations began, but Ortiz refused to surrender. Eventually, during a standoff, he was shot and killed. Afterwards, investigators learned Ortiz had suffered a mental breakdown. He believed medical negligence had taken his wife from him. Whether justified or not, his grief turned into tragedy. The hospital community was devastated. Vigils were held for Officer Keller. Nurses received counseling. Administrators reviewed protocols for handling threats. Yet even with changes, the emotional toll remained heavy. Number 5. Las Vegas gym shooting. May 16th in Las Vegas. The sun blazed overhead as locals headed to the gym to squeeze in their workouts before the weekend. At the Las Vegas Athletic Club on North Rainbow Boulevard, the atmosphere was routine. Patrons ran on treadmills, personal trainers led sessions, music echoed off concrete walls. Around 3:30 p.m., Daniel Ortega entered the building wearing a heavy jacket. It was strange, given the heat. He headed straight toward the main floor, then pulled out an AR-15-style rifle. He fired indiscriminately. Chaos erupted. People ducked behind benches, fled into locker rooms, crawled under machines. One employee, 31-year-old Edgar Quinones, was shot and killed while trying to usher people to safety. 3 others were seriously injured. Then, a miracle. Ortega's rifle jammed. Police who had been nearby responding to a call at a neighboring business arrived within minutes. Ortega refused to drop the weapon. He was shot dead on the spot. In the days that followed, survivors spoke to media outlets. Many said they froze at the sound of gunfire, their minds unable to register what was happening. Others credited Edgar for saving lives. His funeral drew hundreds. His mother said, "He died protecting others. That was who he was." The gym remained closed for 2 weeks. Counselors were made available for members and staff. And across Las Vegas, people reflected on how quickly life can change, even in places meant to build strength and wellness. Each of these events left communities shattered. Victims' names became headlines. Loved ones were left grieving. And America was once again forced to confront the harsh reality of gun violence. Let these stories serve as a reminder. We must keep working for change, support those who've suffered, and never forget those we've lost. Thanks for watching. If you'd like us to cover more true crime and real-world stories, be sure to like and subscribe.